Could Tesla be preparing to make another move in the EV industry that could leave years of work by other companies behind? Today, the whole world talks about electric cars. But the real competition is not between the cars, it's between the batteries. That's because the battery decides how far a car can go, how quickly it can charge, how many years it will last, and how much it will cost. This is why Tesla has recently been focusing not only on launching new cars, but also on changing the technology hidden inside the battery that most people never even see. In recent years, Tesla has been making fast progress in areas like battery cell design, dry electrode manufacturing, silicon-based anodes, better thermal management, and lower-cost production. If Tesla succeeds completely, the impact may not be limited to its own cars. It could affect the entire EV industry. Will the new battery be safer than before? Will it make affordable EVs easier to build? And will BYD, CATL, and other major companies respond with new technologies of their own? Before we move ahead in the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss videos like this. There was a time when people openly laughed at Elon Musk's idea of electric cars. Back then, most people believed that electric cars were only useful for short city drives. They said the battery ran out too quickly, charging took too long, and EVs could never replace petrol or diesel cars. Even many well-known auto experts believed that EVs were just a small experiment that would disappear after a few years. But Elon Musk had a different vision. His dream was not just to build an electric car. He wanted to build a company that could change the direction of the entire auto industry. At that time, this sounded like a huge claim because Tesla itself was struggling. There were times when the company faced financial problems, production challenges, and many people believed Tesla might not survive. But Elon kept saying one thing: if batteries became better and cheaper, electric cars could one day become the first choice for ordinary people. With that thinking, Tesla did not focus only on building cars. The company started working on batteries, motors, software, charging networks, and manufacturing, all at the same time. That is why Tesla slowly stopped being known as just a car company and started being recognized as a company focused on developing new technology. Today, the picture has completely changed. Tesla is counted among the world's biggest EV companies. The company's market capitalization has reached around $1.4 trillion, making it one of the most valuable companies in the world. This shows that investors are not only confident in Tesla's current cars, but also in the technologies it is developing for the future. If we talk about sales, Tesla sells millions of vehicles every year across different countries. In 2025, the company delivered around 1.636 million vehicles. This was lower than the previous year because competition increased in many markets and demand also changed. Even so, this large number shows that Tesla is still one of the biggest EV companies in the world. Tesla's best-selling vehicles are the Model 3 and Model Y. Together, these two models make up the largest share of the company's total sales. Apart from them, Tesla also offers the Model S, Model X, and Cybertruck, but their sales are not as high as the Model 3 and Model Y. However, Tesla no longer has the easy path it once had. A few years ago, Tesla almost stood alone in the electric car market. But now, BYD, CATL, Hyundai, Kia, BMW, Mercedes, Toyota, and many Chinese companies are moving forward quickly. Competition has become stronger than ever, especially in China. That is why Tesla has to keep introducing new technologies to maintain its strong position in the market. This is exactly why Tesla's biggest focus today is not just launching new cars. The company is also investing heavily in batteries, artificial intelligence, robotics, energy storage, and automated driving technologies. In other words, Tesla's vision is not limited to today's sales. It is preparing for the years ahead. Why did Tesla need new battery technology? Today, electric car sales are growing rapidly around the world. Almost every major automaker is launching new EVs. But in this entire competition, the biggest difference does not come from the car's design or features. It comes from the battery. That's because the battery decides how far the car can travel on a single charge, how long it takes to recharge, and how much the vehicle will cost. This is why the biggest challenge in the EV industry today is not just building new cars, but building better batteries. Many people think that if you want more range, you just need to install a bigger battery. But in reality, it is not that simple. A bigger battery means more weight, higher cost, and in many cases, longer charging time. If the car becomes heavier, its efficiency can also be affected. That is why companies are now focusing on making batteries smarter and more efficient, instead of simply making them bigger. This is where Tesla's approach looks a little different from many other companies. The company's focus is not just on building larger batteries, but on developing batteries that can store more energy at a lower cost, charge faster, last longer, and be produced easily at a large scale. If that happens, the benefit will not be limited to Tesla. It will also help people who want to buy a good EV at a lower price in the future. At the same time, the competition has become tougher than ever. China's BYD continues to move forward with its blade battery and hybrid technology. Meanwhile, CATL is making rapid progress in fast charging and high-energy density batteries. On the other hand, Hyundai, Toyota, and many European companies are also investing heavily in battery research. In this environment, it is not easy for Tesla to rely only on its past success. That is why Tesla continues to improve its battery technology. The company is working on new cell designs, better manufacturing, lower costs, and higher efficiency at the same time. Tesla's long-term strategy is not limited to selling today's cars. Its goal is to develop battery technology that can provide a strong foundation for its future vehicles, energy storage systems, and automated mobility for many years to come. What is new in Tesla's new battery technology? Now, the question is, what is actually different about Tesla's new battery technology? Has the company discovered a completely new battery chemistry, or has it simply improved the technology that already exists? The answer is a little interesting. Tesla's main focus is not just on changing the chemicals inside the battery, but on improving its design, manufacturing process, and the way it works. First, let's talk about the 4680 battery cell. Its name comes from its size. It has a diameter of about 46 millimeters and a length of 80 millimeters. Earlier, Tesla mainly used 2170 cells, and before that, 1,650 cells. The new 4680 cells are larger, so each cell can store more energy than before. Another advantage is that the total number of cells inside the battery pack becomes lower. When there are fewer cells, there are also fewer connecting parts, making the battery pack a little simpler and lighter. But the real change is not just the size. Tesla has introduced a tabless design. In a normal battery cell, there is a small metal tab that carries electricity out of the cell. When the battery is under heavy load, this area also generates the most heat. Tesla changed this design by creating a path where current can flow through multiple points at the same time. This helps keep the flow of electricity more even, while heat spreads more evenly across the entire cell instead of building up in one place. As a result, both battery performance and stability can improve. Next comes dry electrode technology. In the traditional process, wet chemicals and solvents are used to make the electrodes, and drying them later takes a lot of time and energy. Tesla is trying to simplify this process. If this technology becomes fully successful on a large scale, it could reduce battery production time, electricity use, and factory costs. That is why it is considered one of Tesla's most important manufacturing technologies. Tesla is also continuously improving the materials used inside the battery. The company is working on increasing the use of silicon-based anodes. Silicon can store more lithium ions than graphite. However, it also expands and shrinks during charging and discharging, which creates technical challenges. That is why Tesla is working on using it in a balanced way to maintain battery life and reliability. The goal of all these improvements is the same: to increase energy density. In other words, store more energy without making the battery much larger. If that happens, the car can travel a longer distance, or the same driving range can be achieved with a smaller and lighter battery. In both cases, the vehicle's efficiency can improve. Finally, there is heat management. The biggest enemy of any battery is excessive heat. High temperatures can affect both battery performance and battery life. That is why Tesla is designing its cell structure, cooling system, and battery pack engineering so that heat can escape more quickly, and all the cells operate at nearly the same temperature. These small engineering improvements together are aimed at making Tesla's new battery technology more efficient, more reliable, and easier to produce on a large scale. The biggest shift in manufacturing. Tesla believes that building a good battery alone is not enough. If it cannot be produced in large numbers at a low cost, its benefits will remain limited. That is why Tesla focuses not only on the battery cell itself, but also on the entire manufacturing process. First, let's understand why batteries are so expensive to make. One reason is the high cost of raw materials, such as lithium, nickel, and other important materials. But that is not the only reason. The battery manufacturing process is also long and complex, making the electrodes, drying them, building the cells, testing them, and then assembling them into a battery pack. Every step takes time, machines, and a lot of energy. If even one step goes wrong, the entire cell can become unusable. This is where Tesla is advancing its dry electrode manufacturing technology. In the traditional process, wet solvents are used to make the electrodes. They are then dried in large dryers, which takes a lot of time and electricity. Tesla is trying to shorten this long process. If this technology becomes fully successful on a large scale, the factory process could become simpler, energy consumption could be reduced, and production time could become shorter. When it takes less time to build a battery, production speed naturally increases. Tesla's Gigafactory is built around this idea. Many tasks there are done by automated machines and robots instead of people. From handling raw materials to inspecting battery cells and assembling battery packs, automation is used at many stages. The goal is not just to increase speed, but also to keep the quality of every battery consistent. Tesla is also working continuously on reducing scrap material. If too much material is wasted during battery production, costs go up. That is why the company is trying to use raw materials more efficiently and reduce the number of defective parts as much as possible. This not only lowers costs, but also makes better use of available resources. The biggest goal behind all these improvements is to reduce the cost per kilowatt hour. Kilowatt hour. In the EV industry, this is the number that decides how expensive a battery will be. If the cost per kilowatt hour comes down, the chances of making electric cars more affordable in the future also increase. That is why almost every major company is working toward this goal. Now, the most important question is, how much of these technical improvements will actually be seen in a car on the road? Because the value of any new battery is not decided by laboratory numbers alone, but by everyday driving. If the new technology does not improve the driving experience, then big claims do not mean much. If the battery can handle heat better and accept electricity more efficiently, charging speed could also improve in the future. However, charging time depends not only on the battery, but also on the charger's power and weather conditions. So, the results will not necessarily be the same everywhere. Battery life is also a major concern for people. Tesla is trying to build batteries that can maintain their performance for a longer time. If the battery generates less heat and energy flows more smoothly inside it, its long-term lifespan could improve. This does not mean the battery will never wear out, but its capacity may decline more slowly over time. Weather also has a clear effect on EVs. In winter, battery performance usually drops, while in summer, higher temperatures can put extra stress on the battery. That is why Tesla continues to improve its thermal management system. This system is designed to control the battery's temperature, so that its performance remains more stable in different weather conditions. Safety also depends heavily on battery design and the cooling system. If heat is controlled properly and every cell is monitored carefully, the risk of problems such as overheating can be reduced. That is why Tesla's new battery technology gives just as much importance to safety as it does to range and charging. Tesla versus BYD, CATL, and other companies. Now the question is Tesla's new battery technology really ahead of the competition? The answer cannot simply be yes or no. That is because every major company in the EV industry is following a different path. Some are focused on lower costs, some on faster charging, and others on longer driving range. That is why it is important to understand the real difference between the approaches of Tesla, BYD, and CATL. First, let's talk about the BYD Blade battery. BYD designed its LFP lithium iron phosphate battery to be safer, stronger, and more affordable. The biggest strength of the Blade battery is its safety. It also requires less expensive materials like nickel and cobalt, which helps keep costs under control. That is one of the reasons why BYD is able to price many of its vehicles competitively. On the other hand, the CATL Shenxing battery is mainly focused on fast charging. The company's goal is to build a battery that can charge enough for long-distance driving in less time. At the same time, CATL is also working continuously to improve battery efficiency and performance in different weather conditions. That is why many of the world's largest car companies use CATL batteries. Now, let's talk about Tesla. Tesla does not rely only on battery chemistry. The company works on improving cell design, the 4680 cell, manufacturing, software, and the battery management system all at the same time. In other words, Tesla's goal is to improve the efficiency of the entire battery system, not just one part of it. If we compare LFP and NMC batteries, both have their own advantages. LFP batteries are generally safer, last longer, and cost less. That is why they are considered a good choice for everyday vehicles. NMC batteries, on the other hand, can store more energy, making it possible to achieve longer range and better performance. Tesla uses both types of batteries in different vehicles, depending on their purpose, while also continuing to develop new technologies like the 4680 cell. When it comes to cost, BYD currently has a strong advantage because of its manufacturing system and supply chain. CATL is one of the world's largest battery companies, so it also has extensive experience in large-scale production. Tesla, meanwhile, is aiming to reduce the cost per kilowatt-hour even further in the future through new manufacturing technologies. Charging is another area where all three companies are making continuous improvements. CATL is focusing on faster charging. BYD is continuously improving its battery technology, and Tesla is working on improving both its batteries and software, along with its supercharger network. So it is not just the battery that matters. The entire charging ecosystem is important as well. The competition is likely to become even more interesting in the future. Tesla is developing new manufacturing technologies. BYD is making the most of its vertical integration, and CATL continues to develop new battery chemistries and fast-charging technologies. In the coming years, this competition will not be about just one company. It will be about building better technology, lowering costs, and making more reliable batteries. Tesla's future battery roadmap. Now, the question is not just about today's battery. The real question is, how is Tesla preparing for the next 5 to 10 years? The EV industry is changing very quickly. The technology that looks like the best today may not remain the best in the future. That is why Tesla is not only improving its current batteries, but is also continuously working on next-generation technologies. First, let's talk about next-generation battery cells. Tesla's goal is to develop cells that can store more energy, generate less heat, and be produced at a lower cost on a large scale. The 4680 cell is considered one step in that direction, but the company does not want to stop there. In the future, more changes could be seen in cell design, materials, and manufacturing processes. Now comes the question of whether there will be a technology after lithium. Companies around the world are researching sodium-ion, lithium metal, and other new battery technologies. At the moment, none of them has been able to replace lithium on a large scale. So for the next few years, lithium-based batteries are still expected to remain the most widely used. Tesla is also focusing mainly on improving the lithium platform for now. Solid-state batteries are also discussed quite often. They are believed to offer higher energy density and better safety in the future. However, producing them on a large scale is still not easy. So far, Tesla has focused more on continuously improving existing lithium batteries rather than adopting solid-state technology immediately. In other words, the company is working on solutions that can be applied quickly and at a large scale. At the same time, Tesla is also continuing its research on silicon anodes. Silicon can store more lithium ions, which can help increase battery capacity. However, the biggest challenge is that it expands and shrinks during charging and discharging. That is why making it durable over the long term is still a major engineering challenge. Tesla is not only planning to build new batteries, but also to make better use of old ones. Its battery recycling strategy aims to recover lithium, nickel, copper, and other valuable materials from used batteries. This can reduce dependence on new raw materials to some extent and make the production process more sustainable. The company is also working on second-life batteries. Even when an EV battery no longer provides the same performance for a car, it still contains a significant amount of usable energy. These battery packs can be reused in homes, factories, or energy storage systems. This helps extend the battery's useful life. That is why Tesla is no longer limiting itself to being just a car company. Its energy storage business is also growing rapidly. Systems like Megapack and Powerwall are part of this strategy. This means that in the future, Tesla's battery technology may not be limited to electric cars. It could also play an important role in electricity storage and the broader energy management market. Challenges, risks. In the end, the biggest question is this: Will Tesla achieve everything that people expect from its new battery technology? The answer is still not completely clear. That is because the real test of any new technology does not happen in the lab. It happens when it is used in millions of vehicles. Many technologies look promising on a small scale, but they can bring new challenges when produced on a large scale. Tesla's biggest goal is to manufacture its new batteries at a low cost and on a large scale, but mass production is never easy. Making sure every battery cell has the same quality, keeping production speed high, and controlling costs at the same time is a major engineering challenge. If even one stage of the process runs into problems, it can affect the entire production line. At the same time, reliability is just as important. Customers do not only want new technology, they want a battery that works reliably for many years. That is why Tesla will have to prove that its new batteries can perform consistently in different weather conditions, on long trips, and in everyday driving. This is also why quality control is so important, because maintaining the same level of quality across millions of batteries is not an easy task. Another challenge is repair cost and warranty. If the new battery design becomes more complex, repairs could also become more expensive. At the same time, Tesla will need to provide strong warranty coverage and a reliable service network to maintain customer confidence. So, introducing new technology is not enough. The support that comes after the sale is just as important. Building batteries requires lithium, nickel, graphite, and other important raw materials. If the supply of these materials is disrupted or their prices increase, battery costs can rise directly. That is why raw material supply is expected to remain a major challenge in the coming years. This is also why Tesla and other companies are strengthening their supply chains and investing in battery recycling. When it comes to competition, Tesla is not the only company moving forward quickly. BYD, CATL, LG Energy Solution, Panasonic, and many others are also developing new battery technologies. So it would not be correct to assume that Tesla will always stay several steps ahead. As new technologies enter the market, the competition will continue to become stronger. If we summarize everything, Tesla's new battery technology certainly points in an important direction. It includes several improvements that could make future EVs better and more affordable. However, calling it a complete revolution right now would be too early. The real answer will come over the next few years when this technology is used on a large scale and proves itself under real-world conditions. That is what will decide whether it becomes the next major step for the EV industry or simply another important part of its ongoing development. If you found this information useful, don't forget to like and share the video. And if you want to stay updated with accurate EV and technology information explained in simple language, make sure to subscribe to our channel.